I know at least three guys who always have women lining up to date them. They're introverted, barely leave the house or office, not on apps, and yet somehow they have a woman. And when they break up, there's another woman in a matter of days. And somehow it's the woman who makes the moves on them. Almost zero effort from the guy's side. And I know they all have issues like being a downer or avoidant. These dudes aren't Brad Pitt either, just regular blokes with regular lives. Am I missing something? Story 1. The answer to this is almost universally that their social circle contains a lot of women, if not directly then tangentially. The best way to get dates and relationships is to have people that vouch for you or set you up. Story 2. I think you must be missing something, yes. They must be putting in effort socially since women know them. Story 3. I've been baffled by that situation too. My sister dated a guy who is a total deadbeat alcoholic. He has driving under the influence charges and can't keep a job. This guy couldn't even look me in the eye when I shook his hand when we first met. He ended up being physically and emotionally abusive to my sister. Yet something in her mind told her to have children with this guy twice. Something in her mind wanted those genes passed on to the next generation. She left him and he met someone else without any problem. And there was that couple in Florida that recently got arrested on the beach for being passed out drunk and not watching their kids. That guy somehow has a girlfriend. It's confusing. Dating advice often says that a guy has to be nearly perfect to get a date. Make millions, hit the gym, be a professional comedian with supernatural charisma, be 6 feet or taller. Yet guys like that never had to think about it. It just happens for them. Story 4. When I was in my first marriage, I made friends with a lot of girls through my now ex-wife at work and through mutual friends. They got to know me and saw how I treated my ex-wife. They came out of the woodwork when my ex and I split up. This was all before dating apps, and while I am decent looking, I am not the best looking guy out there. Maybe that is how your friends always have someone. Story 5. If they are truly putting in close to zero effort, it means they have a strong social network of friends and acquaintances that makes it easier to meet new people. It's also possible you don't have the full picture of their social lives and the effort they put into dating. Story 6. Many people, both men and women, just want to be in a relationship. They have little to no standards. They just seek constant attention and affection. Being single is better than dating just for the sake of dating. Story 7. That's basically me as well, and I honestly don't get it. I am an ugly, bald, blind, grating person, but often described as being authentic and honest. However, I think too many people, both men and women, put too much emphasis on trying to appear attractive to the opposite sex, which leads them to become a caricature of what they are trying to be. Story 8. Introverts can be intriguing and mysterious if they are decent looking. You want to know their allure, and so do women, which is why they want to date them. What secrets do they possess? Curiosity is a powerful motivator. Story 9. They are confident, likely somewhat social, with lives outside of the woman they are dating. Thus, they do not obsess over women. Story 10. I had a friend who was just like that, somewhat antisocial and reserved, and never in the 18 years I've known him has he spent more than 3 months single. There's always someone waiting for him. With another friend in common, we often joke he must have a secret he has never wanted to share with us. Now, he already has 3 kids, and 2 years ago he broke up with the mother of his children, with a scandal included. And not even as a single father of 3 did it stop him from getting another partner in a few months. Yes, I'm jealous of his powers. Story 11. They are attractive and they have social intelligence. They can read when a woman is attracted to them, and they are sensitive to body language and nonverbal communication, so they know what to say as the conversation progresses. They have the confidence and self-esteem to appear relaxed. They can express their desires without applying pressure, and they find genuine interest in what others have to say. Story 12. Game or frame, meaning whatever you want to call it, and momentum, meaning the prior interest of a different woman makes him more interesting to the next woman. Basically, success begetting success. Getting back into that might be where things get a bit more tricky. Story 13. I'll give it from the perspective of my ex-friend who claimed this was me. He used to always say that it made no sense that I disliked talking to people, but still had women who approached me randomly and waited for me. I always told him that physical appearance attracts people, and your personality keeps them there. I keep myself in great shape and care about my hygiene. Although I'm not the most fashionable person, I have my own style, and I think it's not too bad. In terms of socializing, I genuinely dislike it when I don't need to, but I have no problem with it. My ex-friend loved socializing but was very bad at it. Instead of thinking about topics to discuss with women, his go-to line when conversations died or went through a period of awkward silence was, "Are you having a good time?" I always told him, "What does that do? How do you just ask them out of the blue like that? Crack a joke. Talk about your favorite movie. Talk about a memory that relates to something you just discussed." If that line didn't work or he was feeling confident, he just went straight to something physical. I kept telling him that doesn't work. Why would women want to talk about that stuff with you? Be confident in yourself. Take care of your physical appearance. Talk to people not for the sake of it, but because you want to. Probably just put the effort behind the scenes. Don't be clueless like my former friend. Have substance. Women often pick someone with a personality rather than just physical appearance. Story 14. I always ask this question. When I talk to a girl, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells because if I say or do the wrong thing, she'll immediately ghost me. But if I wait too long, I'll get put in the friend zone or she decides to talk to some other guy. A friend I just had lunch with told me he's got 3 girls trying to get with him, and I'm like, dude, how do you have it so easy? I honestly don't understand it. Story 15. Being a tryhard is a big turnoff. They probably have an easy confidence that puts women in their comfort zone. Story 16. Rod Stewart said it best. Some guys have all the luck, some guys have all the pain, some guys get all the breaks, some guys do nothing but complain. Story 17. This is more or less me. Super quiet with people I don't know, kind of boring, definitely not a model. I think it's because I'm pretty easygoing and have a relatively high percentage of women in my work and social circles. Interact with enough, and one of them is bound to be interested. Story 18. I am out of shape, 50, don't have much, and still have no problem dating. I am actually trying to get away from dating because it distracts me from working towards my goals. I am not too outgoing, but friendly. Being friendly and honest seems to work for me. Story 19. Some people are good at finding desperate individuals. I'd call it a skill, but it's an ability that often ends with a miserable headline in the news or some other form of less publicized emotional tragedy. Story 20. I had a roommate like that in college. He would contact many women online through Facebook or church and was very manipulative. Many guys cannot do this because they are too honest and responsible. Women think that honest and responsible men are fake and boring, so the guy who is obviously a goof becomes the real man. Story 21. Nope. I'm that guy. It's pretty easy and mood dependent. It doesn't take much to get started. Sometimes it just takes a post or a picture once a month for 3 or 4 months, and then they make an effort to be with you. But it does take a lot when it's in motion. The girls that jump in do so with a whole host of issues. A lot of work goes into addressing their issues. They can be a good partner, and they like the groundedness that analytical introverts have to offer. But they don't show up without problems. Story 22. I was like that when I was younger, only ever stayed single for a couple of months in a row. All the people I dated were friends or friends of friends. They knew me at least by reputation and through a few group hangouts, something that must have worked for them. The point is that I always had a mixed social circle and never had to meet new women explicitly for dating or a casual thing. I never once looked at an app or approached a random person while out and about. Story 23. How do these women look and what are their backgrounds? I live in Sydney, and the number of socially awkward individuals who can marry and have kids here really surprised me. It basically comes down to desperation from women, lots of very average women with nothing going for them, or the need for a useful local person, a stereotypical green card arrangement so the woman can conduct activities without burden. I now appreciate that average women have largely given up trying to even talk to me these days. They really have no chance. I have noticed a significant rise in depressed pet owners over the last few years, and it seems a large number understand it. Story 24. Hello, I was not naturally that kind of guy. In fact, I was totally alone from about ages 21 to 25, so I should be able to answer this. Women, broadly speaking, want someone who makes them feel safe, someone interesting, and someone they are at least a little attracted to. This is where many perpetually single men, and especially most men's dating advice, get it wrong. They do not understand how women experience attraction. Most men are attractive enough to be dateable, but they miss the first 2 points. Then, since they think they're not attractive, they fixate on that. So they stay single longer, think they need even more, and eventually give up because they believe women have impossible standards. But if you talk to any woman, they'll have many stories of men they were open to dating who just failed at being safe or interesting enough that it turned them off. Consider the whole ick thing. Most examples you see on social media are exaggerated or didn't actually happen. But the concept got popular because that's what actually happens. They're interested in someone, then he does something that makes her feel unsafe or is just painfully boring, and the interest fades away. It's fundamentally not that hard. We're just pointed in the wrong direction. This is put in very simple terms to be understandable, not comprehensive. Please, any women here feel free to comment whether I'm right or wrong. Story 25. I'm into introverts, so that's a plus. What you perceive as not good enough is probably the opposite with the right person. Except for being avoidant, all of the above are positive aspects. Story 26. As one of those guys, I will say straight up, have women in your social circle who are just friends. I always see advice to guys like, never get friend-zoned, only hang out with women you want to date. And let me tell you, it is nonsense. I'm a 4 out of 10 on a good day. Sure, I have a funny sense of humor and a stable, but not large, income, and I'd like to think I don't have any obvious red flags. But I am by no means conventionally attractive. No sane woman is ever going to approach me at a bar. Every woman I've ever dated, including my wife, I was introduced to through mutual friends who happened to be other women. What's interesting is when I introduced a single friend of mine to this social circle, a bunch of them tried to set him up with their friends, but he kept ruining it, so they stopped. If women like you as a friend, genuinely, okay, do avoid those who are just using you, they'll definitely try to connect you with any of their single friends. Get out and socialize with activities where you'll meet more people. Karate lessons, book clubs, Dungeons and Dragons groups. Get out and meet people, and don't try to pursue every woman who so much as smiles at you. And you'll be surprised what opportunities will arise. Story 27. I may be one of these people you're describing. I'm neither a millionaire nor an underwear model, but I've never really struggled to attract a partner when I'm interested in doing so. I don't think I'm someone with attachment issues. A significant part of it is that almost all of my friends are women. In general, I relate to women much more easily than to men, so it's never really a struggle to build a connection. I treat women like people. I have an easy time talking to them, and some of them are interested in me. Story 28. If you know them, you should know how they do it. Why are you asking us how they do it? Who are these 3 guys to you? I'm guessing you're either missing something or assuming something about them that's wrong. If you really knew them, you would know the answer to your question. You don't really know them, do you? Story 29. Once someone is seen in a relationship, other people perceive them as desirable for relationships. Similar to noticing a wedding band on a person. Story 30. Maybe their girlfriends tell all their friends how good they are in bed. Then Susan thinks, I have to get some of that. Story 31. Well, being in a relationship and being in a good relationship are different things. Sure, he seems able to get women, but it doesn't seem to last a long time. He probably just cycles through them, and that's fine if that's what you are looking for. However, most people just want someone for a long time. Story 32. This is me. I decided to be a hermit this year. I stopped going out and stopped pursuing women. I still had 5 women pursuing me from the few times I've been out this year, and now I'm dating someone. I'm overweight, balding, and not super attractive. However, I have my life together, a good job, a house, and so maybe that's it. I also have good hygiene and dress well. I don't think it takes a lot. Just stop being needy. If a woman wants me, cool. If she doesn't, that's cool too. I'm perfectly fine being alone. Story 33. And when they break up, there's another woman in a matter of days. They are moving from girl to girl, meaning they are either cheating or already talking to other girls before their current relationship ends. What do these friends look like? How do they dress? Are they in a female-rich environment like work or school, where they are surrounded by options and have an advantage of less other men as competition? Too much missing information here. Story 34. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but from what I understand, it seems like these men are incapable of being alone and crave the idea of a relationship, which causes them to seek partnership as soon as possible. I have a friend like that. He's very charming, but he's not the best-looking guy and absolutely craves romantic relationships. He can fall in love 2 to 3 times a year and be convinced she's the one each time. I always found that a little sad because I'm surprised at the idea that someone can move on from a year-plus-long relationship within a month or two before starting a new one. That is absurd. I came to the conclusion that a lot of people simply don't want to be alone and are afraid of it. Therefore, they settle for the next available suitor. The reality is, it's not hard to find a girlfriend. It's hard to find the right one. Story 35. This reminds me of this song. Story 36. Yeah, hang out a lot, be clean, be a good person, do fun things. I don't think I'm anything special, but a lot of other people do. I was single for 1.5 years after my previous relationship of 5 years. The one before that was 4 years. It's just a social thing. Story 37. This is me for the most part, except I use applications. This has been me for the past 20 years. It took me until my late 20s to really figure it out. I use online dating sites and wait for women to message me on them. I'm decent looking, have a good career, and I believe I come across as sane, fun, non-judgmental, and not like someone looking to rush into a relationship but absolutely cool with hopping into bed. I'm only average height. I have only once ever encountered a lady who cared about it, and I broke up with her over it. I assume that somewhere in that combination I describe above is something ladies like. Go figure. I think coming across as sane, not desperate, confident, and respectful, but not in some pathetic my lady way helps. Story 38. There are many guys who are very savvy with texting and direct messages, like Instagram and Snapchat. I assume that's how they communicate, and I assume it's probably easier to do it online too. Those are the same guys, though, who have those cringeworthy direct messages you see women post all the time. They still strike out with many of them, but if you cast a wide net, eventually you'll get some responses. Story 39. And somehow it's the woman that makes the moves on them with a side of doubt and doubt as dessert. Story 40. I have a coworker who is pudgy, soft-spoken, doesn't seem to care much about his clothes or general hygiene, loves anime, and apparently hoards figures and dolls. He's been involved with many people around the office. It's surprising. He got one woman pregnant and moved in with her, but has yet to marry her despite her clearly wanting it. And before someone says, "Have you considered he has a nice personality?" He's a shameless, flirtatious person despite being in that relationship. He's also apparently rather lazy, checking all the wrong boxes, any one of which would usually make most other men undateable. I don't see it often, but some guys just have a reality distortion field that women find irresistible. Story 41. They're introverted, rarely leave the house or office, not on dating apps, and yet somehow they have a woman. When they break up, there's another woman in a matter of days. Somehow, it's the woman that makes the first move on them. Without further details, I'm guessing those guys either have a lot of money or high-paying jobs because being shy is often challenging in America. The biggest clue hinting at this from the provided information is the woman that makes the moves on them. Women rarely do that for just an average guy, but they might pursue a financially well-off guy even if he's an introvert. Extroverts reign supreme in the absence of other factors such as looks or money. Story 42. You are definitely missing something. Looks are not half of what matters in dating. I have not been more than a month or two single since graduating college. It's about keeping up socially, not being afraid to ask a girl out, having confidence that it will happen eventually, and knowing your worth and personality type and how to leverage those things in the context of dating. Story 43. They have confidence in what they know about women. They are comfortable in their bodies wherever they go. If you are like me, you might not be because you don't fit the beauty standard. Guys who are comfortable fit the beauty standard already, which gives them a comfortable place to be. Story 44. You're missing something about what they're doing or who they are. Women aren't just knocking on their door, they're meeting them somewhere. Story 45. Being good-looking absolutely helps. If you're average, you might have a harder time dating, but it's not impossible. If you're unattractive, dating can be very challenging. Story 46. Hey, I'm one of these people, though I use dating apps when single too. What has always worked for me is being genuine and not having any expectations when getting to know a woman. I can be a platonic friend, casual partner, or in a long-term relationship during this period, but I never interact with them trying to force something to happen. When I talk to people, I am sincerely curious about who they are as individuals. I want to know what makes them unique. That, in turn, causes them to be curious about me. Sometimes that can lead to something romantic, but more often it's just a friendly kind of acquaintanceship. You've just got to go in trying to get to know people with no end goal in mind. Let life place the people where they belong. Trying to force something is just going to turn women away. Story 47. I always just fell backwards into good luck, even with women. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. Story 48. How old? At 28. Just being employed with no kids made me an absolute catch for women desperate to settle down. Even now, I get direct messages from random women on Facebook because I posted in a lost dog group a few times after finding dogs on the side of the road around the neighborhood. At my absolute peak of attractiveness, I was maybe a 6. I'm now 33, overweight, and bald. Probably a strong 2. I don't know what attracts these women. I make a concerted effort to never talk to women, yet they still express interest in me. For reference, the closest celebrity I've been likened to was a fatter Sam Smith. He is not known for being good-looking. Story 49. I have a friend who keeps messaging girls online. He gets into a new relationship every week. The longest he's been with someone, I think, was 2 years, but even then, he was texting other girls. It was such a messy breakup. I still talk to the ex for some reason because she inexplicably starts confessing her relationship problems to me, like I can do anything about it. I honestly think he is addicted to relationships, if that's even a thing. Story 50. They are introverted and barely leave the house or office, and not on applications. Sounds like my perfect man. Where is the end of the dating queue so I can line up? Story 51. You literally just described my life. Yes, I'm introverted. I rarely leave the house because I prefer to stay home and game. I've never installed Tinder. How did I get all of my ex-girlfriends? I was friends with them beforehand. I didn't show any interest in them. I just appreciated their company as friends. Then they or their friends would tell me, "She's into you," and we would plan a date. If we ended up sharing vibes, we'd become a couple. That's it. No need to learn how to flirt or go to social places where there'd be single women. Just whatever hobby you do or place you frequent, be it school, workplace, gym, or clubs, be friendly with them and show that you're not friends with them for a miraculous chance to hook up or date. Comes naturally when it does. I'm a boring person, but what I do have is a passion for teaching and gaming. Maybe my girlfriends liked me for that passion. It certainly was one of the reasons why my current boyfriend was attracted to me. Story 52. They are fluent in women and really don't overthink the relationships. They just go for them. Story 53. There are only 2 factors that determine partner selection for males: physical attraction and financial status. Don't listen to those who try to convince you otherwise with concepts like personality. These are often propagated by women who feel guilty about their true selection criteria, or by men who struggle with the idea that their partners might not truly be attracted to them. Some men find it hard to accept this because it is too disheartening, so they resort to believing in unlikely scenarios instead of accepting what biological and evolutionary science, along with historical and ongoing evidence, suggest. These individuals are using cognitive dissonance as a defense mechanism. Consider this logically. There is a significant discrepancy between online dating and real-life dating. The reason average-looking men do better in real-life dating is not because they can showcase their personality, but due to a lack of competition from top-looking men. That's why dating becomes more challenging for many men as more women turn to online platforms. In the past, the small percentage of very attractive men that most women were interested in could only meet women in person. They might have met one new woman per week due to real-life limitations. Additionally, monogamy was more encouraged, whereas modern narratives often promote promiscuity for women, labeling it as empowerment, even though it is associated with mental health issues and less life satisfaction. This used to give average-looking men a chance. Now, with online dating, attractive men can quickly swipe through numerous profiles and easily find partners for casual encounters. This shift has decreased the demand for average-looking men. An average-looking woman today can receive attention from many attractive men online. The scenario has changed compared to the past when she might have been approached by a very attractive man occasionally. This is evident. Many people in relationships that were formed before the online dating era would not have matched with their partners on dating apps today. There are two possible explanations. Either online dating apps have somehow altered women's evolutionary preferences, or the demand and supply dynamics have changed, giving them access to more attractive partners. Clearly, it's the latter. Top-looking men generally do not pursue long-term relationships with average-looking women. They opt for short-term engagements before moving on. They choose partners within their own league, given the abundance of options available. The fact that many average-looking women repeatedly choose these encounters over settling down with a more compatible partner demonstrates a conscious decision. Eventually, as time passes and financial considerations become important, these women may settle with a partner who matches their looks and is willing to provide financially, unlike the attractive men they previously dated. This partner may not resemble those from her past encounters, but he provides security and stability. Story 54. Every situation is different, obviously. However, I'll share my personal experience. My current boyfriend is somewhat like what you described. We met at work, and I know he was in 2 long-term serious relationships back-to-back within 6 months of each other before we met. What attracted me to him is also similar to what you described. I know that sounds odd, but I like that he isn't popular or very social. He is very comfortable with himself, being in his own space, and I wanted to get to know him. There was a special feeling I got being welcomed into this antisocial guy's space. Story 55. It seems odd that you know how often they leave the house or what applications they use unless you have them under 24-hour surveillance. Story 56. Shouldn't this question be on Ask Women? Most of the replies are single men definitively telling everyone how women, as a whole, think. Story 57. I guarantee you all these guys are more attractive and interesting than you. Your presence on Reddit asking this question already tells me that by default. Story 58. They are masculine, patriarchal, and chaotic. Attractive with good social skills, and confident. Why do people ask obvious questions? Story 59. It's definitely their aura. If you want to be this alpha god, then stop lusting over random women and masturbating. Story 60. Women often do make the first move. It's not that uncommon. Do you know who is unsuccessful with women? Guys who think they are mysterious creatures. That attitude puts tension into their interactions. Imagine what a turnoff that must be. I always found that a take-it-or-leave-it, relaxed approach is best. Do that, and you'll get someone messaging you at 11 p.m. asking if they can drop by. Story 61. Many solitary men have online connections with people. Their social circle often includes more women than men. For some women, a man who stays home, works, and leads a simple life is very desirable. She is free to go out, socialize, and meet other men, but she has a home base to return to and doesn't risk being single. It's like going camping. Fun, temporary, and no one expects you to stay there long. His reward is having a woman enter his life and make it more exciting for a short time. The better he handles these breakups, the more women keep him as an option, all to avoid being single. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.